Hey everyone, it's Keith here. We're nearing the end of the year, and in today's video, I'm sharing my favorite EDC and travel gear in 2022. After testing a bunch of new products and gear, I've created a list of products that I've either enjoyed using or had improved my carry this year. My favorite sling is also a tech pouch, and it's the Alpaca Elements tech case in the limited edition Grey X pack. After testing it for the past half year, I think this is a fantastic take on the sling and tech pouch hybrid. The design adds tons of versatility to my setup. I can attach the strap and use it as my EDC sling, or throw it in my backpack and use it as a tech case. There are a few versions with different materials and color options, but I went with the Grey X pack to mix things up. I have tons of black bags and pouches, and this pop of Grey X pack is a welcomed addition to my collection. The interior is a blood orange honeycomb ripstop that contrasts very well with my black gear and makes it super easy to find them. The design of the accordion organization system works very well. There are plenty of dividers in different widths with zippers or slip pockets. Each piece of gear has its own dedicated place in this sling. It also fits up to an iPad mini, which I use daily, and the pouch works great as an iPad mini setup. Overall, I've enjoyed using the Elements tech case and it improved my carry. If you have an iPad mini, I highly recommend adding this to your setup. If you want to see a full review on this Elements tech case, let me know in the comments. This year, I've been testing a lot of wallets from brands like Pioneer Carry, Dango, and Grams 28. However, there was one wallet that really impressed me, and it was the Reform Carry 01 wallet. This is the slimmest bifold wallet I've come across, and it holds up to 9 cards. Even though it's ultra slim, it has a magnetic closure that makes a satisfying sound when it snaps together. It's made from a proprietary material that feels like Hypalon. It has a slippery and rubbery feel to it. This material gives the wallet its incredible thinness. The wallet disappears in my pockets, and I highly recommend checking out this wallet if you're looking for something slim in the pockets. I'm currently working on a wallet roundup video, so if you want to see that video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Before I talk about my favorite knife, I want to give an honorable mention to the Civivi Kiv Plus. The Kiv Plus is designed by Ostap Hell, who is one of my favorite knife designers. It's a fantastic utility knife with a futuristic design. I love the combination of the traditional Kiridashi blade shape with the battle-scarred carbon fiber scales. The Kiv Plus looks good, and it has very snappy action. I've made a full review on the knife, and you can check it out in the top info card. Moving to my favorite knife of the year, and it's a very easy choice. It's the Weep here, and here I have the carbon fiber version and the brass version. These were grail knives, and they ended up as the first knives I bought. I had my eyes on the brass version, and there's a long story of how I also ended up with the carbon fiber version. Ostap Hell also designed the pier, and it has a futuristic design as well. The sharp lines and angles are very detailed, and the knife feels surprisingly comfortable in my hand. The highlight of the pier is the contrast of the inlays with the titanium handles. The inlays look great, but it gives these knives a completely different feeling. The carbon fiber version feels very light and has a snappy action, while the brass version feels very heavy and has a stiff action. I thought I would like the brass version more, but I love them both equally, and they take my number 1 spot as my favorite knife of the year. The next item on the list is the Rolling Square InCharge X cable. I've been using this cable for the past few months, and I've already featured it in a few videos. This keychain charging cable is very handy. It's a 6-in-1 charging cable with ultra fast charging. On one side of the cable, it has a USB-A and a USB-C for the input. On the output, there's a Lightning and micro USB combo adapter and a USB-C as well. Everyone should have one for their daily carry or in their emergency toolkit. This is a very useful piece of gear, and I can't recommend it enough. Next up, let's talk about watches. I've tested a few watches this year, and I've narrowed it down to 2 watches. The first one is the Casio A168. As a long-time wearer of the Casio AE1200 World Time, I think this is another fun Casio that's worth checking out. I love the gunmetal colorway on this model. I usually wear black and grey all the time, and this watch suits my style very well. This version of the A168 comes in a shiny resin case with a gunmetal steel bracelet. The case height on the A168 is much slimmer than the World Time and wears even better on my small wrist. When I wear my long sleeve shirts and jackets, this watch slips under the cuff very easily. It feels very light on the wrist, and the bracelet is surprisingly good. The quick adjustment on the bracelet works well, and I can find a comfortable fit on my wrist. The digital display is legible, and the backlight lights up the whole screen. Compared to the F91W and A158, the backlight on this is so much better. The module on the A168 has all of the usual functions you will find on a Casio, such as an alarm and a stopwatch. The only thing missing is a timer function. I use the timer function on my Casio World Time every day when I make coffee with my AeroPress. I prefer using my watch instead of my phone to set up my timer. If the A168 had a timer function, this watch could easily replace my world time as my everyday watch. Overall, I think this is a great watch and worth checking out. Another watch I've had the opportunity to check out is the RZE Resolute 2022. I've previously made a review on this watch and you can check it out in the top info card. I've had this watch for about 9 months now and it's been one of my most worn watches this year. For days when I want to dress up a little bit and not wear my Casios, I always end up wearing this watch. I love the minimal grayed out look of this watch and it works so well with my monochromatic outfits. The movement doesn't have a day date function, which means there's one less thing to set every time I wear this watch. Also, the case and bracelet are made from titanium and it's incredibly lightweight on the wrist. I usually don't like wearing bracelets on watches, but the Resolute changed my thoughts on them. I've started to wear more watches on the bracelets like the Casio A168 and the Marathon MSAR. I've been very impressed with the RZE Resolute 2022, and if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this watch, you can check out my review on this channel. The next item on the list is a slightly unusual one, and it's the Moondrop shoes. I've always loved IEMs, and I used to carry a pair of Sony XBA C10s during high school. It was a very neutral sounding balanced armature IEM with fantastic comfortability. Ever since graduating from high school, I haven't used a pair of IEMs until YouTube recently recommended me Clinical's video on the Moondrop shoes. After watching that video, I decided to grab them and get back into the world of IEMs. I'm still very new to IEMs and I'm not an audiophile, but the Moondrop shoe sounds great. They have great clarity and detail. Since these sound very neutral, I sometimes use them to monitor the audio when I edit my videos. I also use them to listen to music casually around home because I don't have to worry about background noise affecting the audio quality. For $25, I think these are worth the price and I've enjoyed using them this year. If you've been on my channel for a while, you have probably seen these featured in a few videos already. And these are the Adidas Terrex Free Hikers. I've spent the year wearing these and the only negative thing about them is the poor ankle support. Besides that, I love these shoes. They are one of the best investments I've made this year. I've gotten a lot of use out of these shoes. I've worn them on several hikes and they're incredibly lightweight and comfortable. Since these are sneaker boots, the Free Hikers can also be worn casually. The Free Hikers are my favorite shoes of 2022, and if you want to hear more of my thoughts on these shoes, I'll include links to my other videos in the description box. Up next is the Able Carry 13 Day Bag. I decided to include it on this list because I enjoyed using it this year. I'm currently still working on the review for this bag, so I won't go into too much detail. Make sure you subscribe if you want a detailed look at this backpack. The 13 Day Bag is a 13 litre size bag, and this fits my carry needs and workflow very well. I usually carry a 13-inch MacBook Pro and an iPad mini and store them in their dedicated slots. The main compartment has plenty of space for my other essentials like my Alpaca Elements tech case, a packable light jacket, and a water bottle. With all this gear in the main compartment, there's still plenty of room for other gear. There's also a front compartment on this backpack which is very roomy and expandable. It's a good place to store small essentials like sunnies and keys. Overall, I really like this backpack and don't be surprised when my review comes out, it's a positive review. That wraps up all of my favorite gear in 2022. And what are some of your favorite gear this year? Let me know in the comments. This year, I've had a wonderful time working with many brands and checking out new gear. I want to thank everyone I got to work with, and more importantly, I want to thank all of you so much for watching my videos. That's all from me for this year, and I will see you all in the next year.